How's it going, everyone? Today I found a clip between Ryan Reynolds and Josh Brolin talking about Deadpool 2 and how Deadpool fits into a PC world. And I thought it was pretty interesting, so we're going to check it out.
I'm going to say one thing. Really, it's all offensive, and that's what's so kind of wonderful about the movie. You know, in this kind of politically correct oppression right now, and not saying that any of it is wrong or any of it is bad, and not making any judgment whatsoever.
I'm sorry, Josh, but you actually did make a judgment, as oppression does bring negative connotations to it. I don't know if you can actually oppress someone for their benefit. That doesn't really make any sense now, does it? But I'll state it because you can't. Yes, PC culture sucks. Comedy is going down the drain. Comedians are terrified, such as Seinfeld won't go on to college campuses anymore, because why the hell would you? They just call him a racist and it'd be pointless. So yeah, that's why Deadpool is such a success, because he says whatever the fuck he wants, basically.
So nice to be able to have a laugh. That's why when he was talking before about this PG idea, you know, when studios force a PG-13, it's for money. The idea is more people will see it. And what's great about when he started Deadpool is this kind of R throwaway. It's not going to be successful anyway, so we'll give you an R.
And this is one of the main reasons why I think Deadpool was better than Deadpool 2, because I did like Deadpool 2, but the first Deadpool is definitely a better movie. Because they thought it was going to fail, so like, here you go Ryan Reynolds, probably just to shut him up. But for the second one, they were a lot more invested in it, and I think it actually did affect the movie a bit. But still, it was still a good movie.
And then it was massively successful to everybody's kind of chagrin. And now you continue on, because I think it's so needed to have a laugh. It's like I've been watching these, comedy hours, and I can tell the difference with a lot of comedians. They're so afraid to say anything. And then you see Ricky Gervais, and it's just, he doesn't give a shit.
And he was one of the only comedians that actually came out in defense of Count Dankula, which was really good to see. And I've been a massive fan of Ricky Gervais's work for a while, so you're preaching to the choir here, mate. But yes, it is good to see a couple of comedians standing up and being like, no, we're not going to just bow down to your PC policing. We are going to tell jokes, and if you're offended, that's your own problem.
You know what I mean? And there's something really wonderful about that self-deprecating humor, you know, in looking at this kind of social climate and being able to make fun of ourselves in that social climate. To me, that's where the healing and the understanding comes, and you need it. You have to have it. Otherwise, we get so tight. You know, that's why I love this movie. When I read this movie, I was like, oh, it was like a breath of fresh air.
He's basically referring to the Tumblrettes with that comment, as they get so offended by costumes or jokes or just white people in general, it seems lately, that all the fun in the world just disappears. The social justice warriors take things way too freaking seriously sometimes, and I'm really surprised they didn't have more issue with Deadpool 2, because there were quite a few jokes actually aimed against them, which, yeah, they did it quite well, so maybe the social justice warriors didn't pick up on it too much, but still. Deadpool 2 wasn't as good as Deadpool 1, but still, it was a really good movie.
I think it's also, you can't really create a movie like this if you're too concerned with that kind of outcome. I think you have to swing for the fences. You have to take chances and risks that we owe it to the audience to do that. And, you know, and it's also, we're not painting a picture of how the world should be or could be. We're painting a picture of a character who's, you know, in a highly militarized shame spiral. And that's, you know, that's the sort of tenet that we have to hold on to. And we have I think there's an obligation to sort of, you know, like I always say, we're making a rated R comic book movie omelet. We have to break some eggs. So
I guess that's what's different about the Deadpool franchise compared to a lot of other ones. They don't really think their audience is just absolute morons. And please, for future projects such as Deadpool 3 or the X-Force or whatever's going to be the next one, please go a step further. Like, in this PC world we live in, you were quite out there, but if the PC world suddenly disappeared, they were quite safe. So this is Deadpool we're talking about. You can really do whatever you want. But yeah, that's why I think the first one was better than the second one, because they didn't really care about the first one, so I don't think they really were hands-on at all. I mean the studio, not Ryan Reynolds and the other people.
It's like going back. I used to have these Lenny Bruce vinyls that I would listen to as a teenager, and it reminds me of that. Again, the great fuck it.
I haven't seen much of Josh Brolin, but I do really like him. And I did like him as Cable, but I've read the Deadpool and Cable comics, and man, is Cable nerfed in this movie. I might do a video on it. It's really interesting. Cable is so overpowered in the comics. I won't ruin it, but he takes down quite a few superheroes, and in this one he kind of struggles against like soldiers, but still, he's a good actor. It was good. He's just so underpowered, and his backstory is completely changed as well. It's not as good in the movies, but yeah, you couldn't do his backstory in the movies because there's just too many other characters, and yeah, it wouldn't work.
But yes, there are things in this movie that we had to take out in the edit room because it's just you go way too far, and you're glad you have it. You want to get as much as you can, and then there's three stages of the writing process. You're writing the screenplay, there's the actual filming of the movie, and then the third stage of the writing process is editing. And there's a tremendous amount of writing that you do as you shape the movie and shift things. So yeah, there's things that I would love to be released into the world, but I think we'll all be arrested, so we'll never see it. But and then there's other things that are just on that line, that are just pushing it a little bit, maybe too far, and I think that's okay. I think that's part of our job. So.
I definitely think the director's cut's going to be a lot better than the movie that we have currently seen, as these jokes that Ryan Reynolds probably thinks are a step too far actually aren't. It's just that they probably don't want to be absolutely hounded by the PC police, which really hasn't happened much for Deadpool 2, which I'm really surprised. I guess they just realized that it's going to be like that. I don't have an issue. I'm not sure. There's probably some outrage, but I really haven't heard about anything.
I don't think he's protesting against something. I think Deadpool sort of is, to me, this sort of theme of the movie is how one act of kindness can possibly change the entire world, and Deadpool is got to do something selfless. Deadpool's got to be completely and utterly unselfish, and that's for him is his challenge. And I also think that we're telling a story about two guys that are sort of coming head to head, and they both have completely different ideologies and viewpoints of the world, yet there's a pleasing sort of symmetry between their stories. There's something that they have in common. So
I just wanted to comment on that clip, as it doesn't have really anything to do with the PC police, but in Deadpool 1997, the comic series, he actually does have an arc where he is trying to be selfless and trying to grow, and it's really interesting. It's completely different than the movies, but still it works. And the Deadpool characters, like the movie character and the comics, are actually really similar. Ryan Reynolds does a great job, but that's not Deadpool's character really entirely. I really do hope that they don't just stick to that, as there are quite a few different arcs that he goes through in the comic series that are really interesting, as Deadpool gets really freaking dark sometimes. But anyway, that's just my view on the movie and the comics, and that's the end of the clips. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be doing a live stream today. I'm pushing back the time a little bit, but it will be Pacific Standard Time in the afternoon or evening, so look forward to that. I'm also doing a Twitch live stream tomorrow, so if you're interested in watching that or maybe playing a couple of games, come check it out. Links in the description box down below. And also, I'm back on Twitter, so if you want to come say hello or have a chat, yeah, just come check me out over there. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.